Yo, what's up everyone? Kyrios here, and today I want to go over some sigil mistakes and some upgrading of gear mistakes effectively in Aether Gazer and things I wish I knew earlier in the game. Even though I've played the Chinese version, I actually didn't know this until I got to the English version. So we're gonna go through it. I'm gonna go through everything you need to know, and I'm gonna give some tips right in the beginning of if you should do this right now or not. So if you guys can, hit that like and subscribe. Let's get started. All right, guys, so I've done some trial and errors on some of the sigils, and I've actually spent some money in order to do some trials and errors. Now, I do want to hit you with the big tip right away. Now, a lot of people are looking at sigils, and this whole guide is going to be covering everything you need to know. But the one thing I would say is that sigils are going to be the last thing that you really want to focus on. Your first priority are going to be levels, going to be leveling up your weapons, and then also leveling up your skills. Those come first, and you should be able to build at least 2 different teams, essentially with 6 characters. So that's going to be your priority before you get to sigils. Now, you may be wanting to get some sigils and stuff like that as well. So you can go farm sigils starting at, level 30, 25, 30, whatever it is. Now, I highly suggest you don't farm any sigils until BS 1-3, because that's going to give you a chance of getting a 5-star sigil. There's no reason to really farm for 4-star sigils right now. You'll be able to clear all the content. Now, you could do a little bit of farming here, but I really suggest you don't really start farming this until admin level 45. You're not really going to need it, and this is going to be your best bang for buck once you start farming those sigils. Focus on your characters, focus on leveling them, and focus on some of your other activities. Now, quickly, I do want to point out that you can select the type of sigil that you're trying to target, so make sure you are targeting the correct sigils in the bottom left-hand corner. Okay, so you want to do sigils. Let's go ahead and just break into it. Let's go over quickly what the sigils guide are. Now, the sigils are very confusing in my opinion. You can see that I have my sigils structured in a very specific pattern. So if I was to go in here, and for most characters, they're going to have a recommendation, and these recommendations are actually pretty spot on. So we're going to use the Tsukuyomi as a great example. It's saying that I want to have Lightning Cutter and also Caledonian Rage, which are both absolutely amazing for Tsukuyomi. So hers are pretty static across the board. You don't really change these. So there's a couple of things that we need to talk about first. First, we have your positioning, right? You have your positioning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and your positioning does matter in order to get skill effects. Now, if you're slapping sigils in here that are level 20 or anything like that, that's totally fine. And I highly suggest if you are putting sigils in there, do not level them past level 10 or level 20 until you have the correct spots, and ideally the correct spots with also the bonus effect in here. So if I was to go into this one, you can see I have a little marker at the top of this Lightning Cutter 5. If I am the correct, essentially, element, or whatever you want to call it, we have a modifier that increases the sigil stats by 20%. Now, what you could do is you can get all the ones that you want, and then you can change these with effectively a reconstructor. Now, I have 10 reconstructors because I bought them from the shop in order to do this video, but you can also farm these a little bit from doing the hazard zone cleaning. I don't remember how often this resets, but you should be able to get some every now and then, and they'll probably be in events as well. So just make sure that you're using your general zone reconstructors properly. And then before you reconstruct anything, you also want to make sure that the buffs that you're going to get from the skill effects are actually the buffs that you're looking for, whether it be crit rate, thunder damage, maybe attack percentage, skill damage. There's a lot to take into account here. So quickly, just to show you the cultivator, we're going to go ahead and use one here. We can do the reconstructor. We can say so we used one reconstructor there. You can see it is kind of random, which is not the greatest thing in the world. So you can go ahead and use these, but this is just turning out to be a very terrible experience. And there we go. We finally got it lined up on the one that you need. So I would honestly try and fish some of the ones that you're looking for instead of relying on some reconstructors. But it is what it is, some RNG to it. Okay, so remember when I said the slots do matter? Now, the reason why they matter is that typically offensive abilities or offensive sigils are going to give you a So now remember when I said that the slots do matter? The reason why they matter is because it's the skill effects that are on the different sigils. If you line them up in the correct positions, like the lightning cutter is in 1, 3, and 5, you're gonna typically get skill effects that are in the DPS category. And the same thing goes for the 2, 4, and 6. If you put your rage mods, for this one, it's a rage mod. It's typically a offensive support type of sigil. You're going to get the skill effects that also give you increased damage, or however it works for those characters that you have. If it's a support character, you'll get more mana and stuff like that. But as an example, if I was to put this sigil over here, which is on the wrong slot, you can see the skill effects change. I get defense plus 4%, damage taken minus 2.5%. This is ideally not what I want to do for Tsukuyomi. So if you put your sigils on the wrong spot, you have a chance of getting buffs that are not suited for your character. So it's very important that you do put the sigils on the very correct spot and you don't overly level ones that are in the wrong spot. So if you're just putting sigils in there to get a little DPS increase, just remember, don't level them up. Make sure you wait for the correct positionings before you actually really level up your sigils. All right, cool. So on Tsukuyomi, we have 2 sigils that are actually really suited for me. So we have the ones with the sigil stats increased by 20%, and it's on the correct modifier. And then we have this one that's on the correct modifier as well. So these are going to be the 2 I really focus heavily on and I invest in. And what do I mean by invest? When you cultivate them, you can level them up. I would get them to level 30. Getting them past then, you don't really have to do too much. But there's also another opinion you have here. You can actually enchant them with even more effects. Now, this is the complete RNG into it. Now, I did buy the package from the shop in order to be able to better explain this. So I took that hit on my wallet effectively. But what you can do is that you can then enchant this and look for essentially different buffs that you're looking for. And there's a variety. You can get every single buff here. So if I was to do this a couple times, right, here we go. Normal attack damage plus 20%, defense plus 8%, normal attack damage plus 20%, dodge effect minus 2 seconds. So this is right now, the first one is looking a lot better. And you don't want to overly do this unless you're completely trying to min-max. Usually just take the first one. It'll be a good DPS increase. Let me go do this one. Skill damage and rating gain rate plus 10%. I actually don't really know what the dynamics of that one is. So I'm going to do it one more time just to show face here. And there we go. We got crit rate plus healing received. Now, healing received is not really the best one out there, but I really do like that crit rate. So now I'm up in the air between the first one and the fourth one. So as of right now, what I'm probably going to do is I will probably select this first one right there. And then we'll think about, I'll come back to this later and think about if I want to change up that enhancement. But you can see how this really takes into some of the RNG of the game. Now, you can get a lot of these, generators as well. You can farm them, and you can get them from obviously the shop and some different ways. So this is really a lot of the end game, getting those enchanters. And on the other side, we're going to go ahead and do the other one real quick. I'm going to go ahead and cultivate this. We're going to do another enchantment. This has skill damage and attack. Let's go ahead and enchant that on there. We got crit damage plus 16% and max dodge energy plus 20%. That's pretty cool. I really like that one. That might be where we stop. Let's go ahead and do a couple more. We got lightning damage plus energy cost minus 10%. That's really cool as well. And let's do another one here. Non-dot damage to elites and bosses plus 5% damage taken from elites and bosses. I currently really like this middle one right here. That's light damage, not lightning damage. So I guess I don't like that. I like the crit one. Let's do it one more time just to show face. And there's thunder damage and damage taken minus 5%. Oh man, that is a tough sell right there. But let's go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and select this first one, max dodge energy plus crit damage. And we currently have some really good upgrades. So now if we go to our skill effects, you can see we have all these skill effects over here. I have Fierce Assault plus level 4. I've got Berserk, which is increased crit rate. We've got some Enraged for plus crit damage. Gladiator for plus normal attack. And then we have some support abilities from max dodge to Raptor and dodge effect and stuff like that. So our Tsukuyomi is looking pretty dang good. Now, I do want to point out that you can buy some of these sigils from the shop. So if you are decommissioning sigils, which you can do in your inventory, let me go over there real quick. you can go to your sigils here. Say we go to lightning cutter. Say I want to just bash dismantle this. Let's go ahead and select all the 2 4 stars and dismantle that. Confirm dismantle, and we're gonna get a lot of resources from doing that. Now, in order to buy 5-star sigils from the shop, you do have to dismantle 5 stars, so you're gonna have to do some farming here. But I do want to point out that when you're buying this from the shop, it doesn't look like they can have the special modifier effect on them. It only looks like it's from the drop, but let me know in the comments down below if you guys find some. I haven't been able to get one, but you could buy some 4 stars and stuff like that. But what you're typically going to do is you're actually going to use a lot of your broken down sigils to buy energy to level them up, because this is really truly the end game. So hopefully that kind of cleared everything up for everyone. A lot of characters have different sigils that they like, so make sure that you take into account just the recommended sigils. Most times the sigil path doesn't change, so it's pretty straightforward. And hopefully this cleared it up on where you should be spending your resources. And maybe you've leveled the wrong sigils, maybe you've overinvested into them. Like, for example, once again, I did that level 31 over here. I cultivated it as well with putting an enchantment on it, and it was just the wrong spot, and I made a big mistake leveling this to 30. It's effectively useless for me. So I don't want you guys to make those mistakes. I want you guys to be able to farm correctly and level correctly. Once again, sigils are the end game. Focus on your characters, focus on your weapons, and then you could do sigil farming a lot later. You don't have to min-max it right now. So hopefully that helped you out. Let me know in the comments down below if this was very beneficial to you. I hope it was. I'll see you guys on the next video. Take it easy, and fist bump from me to you.